Welcome to the channel. And today we are talking about the great European pagan revival. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but there has been a very large resurgence when it comes to Europeans and finding out what their native beliefs were before everybody became a Christian. In Iceland, I've seen pictures of congregations of people coming together for a ceremony of over 5,000 people, all coming there with a prayer in their heart and an offering in their hands to do a ceremony to the old gods. In Iceland, over 3% of the population openly identifies as either pagan or heathen. In Estonia, the figures are even greater. There are over 11% of the population that identifies as either pagan or heathen. Now, Estonia is a bit of an outlier, a bit of a strange country. Apparently, they only really converted to Christianity in name, and the old ways truly never really left. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm talking about Estonia and Iceland, but these are on the outskirts of Europe, and on the mainland, on the big countries, there's very much the same trend. In Scotland, it is now possible on the census form, if you fill out your religion, to choose pagan. There were some pagans who worked really hard to get that done. In Ireland, there are groups. In Greece, there are groups paying to the old Greek gods. In France, in Belgium, Germany, everywhere, old ways are returning. Now, this video isn't so much a video to convince you of the fact that the old ways are returning. This is a video for people like you and me who are part of this pagan resurgence. It's a video to make some suggestions as to how, in this moment in time, to make the most of this pagan resurgence. To make sure that this pagan, almost this pagan explosion that is taking place on the European continent and also on the other side of the ocean in America, that it lasts. Because an explosion sounds really good, because an explosion is powerful. But an explosion doesn't last a long time. So what can we do? I'm going to give some suggestions and some tips, some practical tips, 3 or 4, some of which we can do inside, some of us outside, because, well, inside and outside, those things go hand in hand. Now, the first thing you can do, if you find yourself drawn to paganism, heathenry, and the old ways, is see if you can de-Christianize your mind a bit. Because 1500 years of Christianity has left its scars in how we view the world. It's so embedded in our way of thinking that we don't even notice that it's here. But a lot of our thinking and our way of doing is still influenced by Christianity. Now, what do I mean by that? In Christianity, it's harder to get a direct bond with God. Because there's an intermediary. There's God, there's you, but there's a priest in between. I believe it was a quote by Jung, who said, organized religion is there to stop people from having a direct relationship with the divine. In paganism, you can have a direct relationship with your God. There's nobody getting in between that. So we have this middleman, and these middlemen appear not only in our religion, even if we step out of the religion, you know. You can take a man out of church, but can you take the church out of the man? That's what we're going to try to do here. I think charities is a good example. Charities also have a power structure, and the idea is pretty much the same as church. Meaning, you want to do some good, then the charity comes, you can only do it through me. I am the middleman. So you have your goal, and you have a middleman. And you know the trouble with charity. I mean, there are some good charities, but there are a lot of charities where a lot of money goes to the CEO, a lot of money is spent on other stuff. So if you want to de-Christianize your mind, and if you want to get away from that intermediary person, if you want to get away with the power structures that go along with that intermediary structure, because power structures, well, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So you get some corruption. If you want to bypass that, just do some good. Look around you and see if there are people who need anything and get them that. When you're in holiday in like a country where it's really poor, just Ask what they need and just give it to them. Don't wait on somebody else. Don't wait for baby Jesus to do it for you, because Christianity also has, well, there's the belief in heaven, and you can say like when heathenry there's the belief for Valhalla, but you have to believe in heaven, you do the right thing and it comes later. And essentially Christianity is also Jesus Christ will come back. And when he comes back, all your troubles will be solved. Everything will be great if you just do what the church says. So of course that's also a control mechanism, but these two things, they've kind of they are embedded in our psyche. Meaning there's still a lot of people who don't go to church anymore, but still they wait to this day for something to come. Maybe when the aliens come, everything will be great. It's just another Jesus. Maybe when the age of Aquarius come, that's what New Agers believe, then everything will be love and light. That's still waiting on Jesus. There are a lot of ways that you can wait for Jesus. So find out if you are still waiting for a Jesus, waiting for a Savior, waiting for something else to make your life great. Because the New Agers say everything is love and light, and the Christians say, well, Jesus is the love and the light. I think as pagans we can have a more balanced view. We can say there's much beauty in this world, but there's also much darkness. And if you want something done, do it yourself. So that's one thing, to de-Christianize your mind. The other part is, we need to reclaim our sacred spaces. Now, what are our sacred places? Because I hear you think, well, Earth is sacred everywhere, right? And you'd kind of be right. There are sacred places, but there are also a lot of desecrated places. But you know what I mean, my sacred places. Every country and every area has them. You can go to your megalithic sites. You can go to the many stone monuments in Ireland, in England. In Holland we have the hunebedden, which I will do a video on in due time. But to a lesser extent, you have places where our pagan ancestors, where it is known that they had feast days. The funeral mounds, the grafheuvels here in Holland, you can go there. And, well, don't just go there and start drinking beers or something. Just be very respectful. I did a separate video on respect when it came to funeral mounds. I'll probably link that in the description below. But you can just start at certain dates, maybe summer solstice, winter solstice, you know, spring, those 4 dates. Just go there. Be respectful, be quiet, and say a prayer. Give your energy to that place, and maybe that place will give some of its energy back to you. Because sometimes I dream at night and I think that in order to survive these crazy times, these ancient megalithic sites like Stonehenge and these stone circles and the hunebedden, that they have a role to play. But I haven't figured that out completely yet. But it's one thing that we can do. It's also one thing that we can do, that we can make things visible in the here and now. Is that we can make paganism visible as we go to these places. And it's probably a good place to meet some similar-minded individuals. Because I strongly believe, by the way, that we should make paganism visible. And I myself also try to do that, not just with this channel. And if you want to know what other ways I'm trying my best to make paganism visible, I suggest you subscribe. Okay, we take back the sacred places and we take back our minds. The third one is a fun one. You know what we could do, just for shits and giggles, because we need some shits and giggles. We could take back our language. Language is insanely important, not just in a magical sense, like abracadabra, I say what I create, that what you say is actually speech magic, which it is. But even if you don't believe in that in mumbo jumbo, you go like, oh, that's a bit too spiritual, a bit crazy for me. Even if you don't believe that, language shapes your world and is insanely important. Because I know a lot of people who love heathenry, and I know a lot of people who consider themselves pagans and heathens and who've been there for years. But what do these heathens say when they stub their toe? Jesus fucking Christ! That's what you say. What do you say when somebody cuts you off in traffic? God damn it! It's very peculiar how we still like use foul language with a Christian sense. Isn't it time we created our own little cool little slang? Hmm? I have some suggestions, but hey, if you have some suggestions, I would love to hear them in the comments. I've started saying, like, if something strange happens, I go like, by the gods. Or just simply, if something happens that surprises you, go, what in the nine worlds is this shit? It's a good thing. I had a girlfriend once who said, ik begrijp er geen ene jota meer van. Which translated, I don't understand one iota of this shit. But we could change that easily and say like, I don't understand one goddamn jotun of this shit. Because a giant in Nordic mythology is called a jotun, and a jotun could be symbolically seen as this primordial energy. So if you see this primordial energy which hasn't crystallized completely, it's fake. So you could easily change that to go like, I don't understand one jotun of this. Well, many suggestions also. By Odin's beard. That's also a nice one. If you have suggestions, let me know. It's just shits and giggles. Just fun. Why don't we reclaim our whole freaking language? Okay. I have one fourth and final suggestion, and it's a bit of a powerful one. It's a bit of a shamanic one. You ever wondered why the world is the way it is? Yes, we're hitting the 12-minute mark in this video, and now we're finally getting to the good shit. The world is the way it is because you and I dreamt it this way. Everything you see was dreamt of and then made into matter. We have a world full of cars, large buildings, fat bank accounts. Why? Because we dreamt of that. That's what we want. I even have a theory of that's how we ended up with the Kardashians. And I mean not the Kardashians per se, but these whole villages of women with the lips who are so big like a bee stung them, and with the giant asses and with the giant tits, and everything is just unnatural and surgically removed and surgically made bigger. It's because us men has been fantasizing about big tits and big asses for a very long time. And we fantasized about that so furiously, or should I say furiously, that it actually came into being, and now we're stuck with these women who look like a blow-up doll. It's actually quite a tragedy. So males, if you're watching, please stop fantasizing about that stuff. I'm sick and tired of seeing these girls with these lips like a bee stung, with eyes, you know, like two piss holes in the snow, like just like this, no shine, no sparkle, just like a, do you like me? Do you think I'm sexually attractive? Like, let's stop fantasizing about that. But I got a bit on a detour here. Let's get back to the point. The world is here because we dreamt it that way. So, if you want to change the world, change your dreams. How I got this idea is the thumbnail for this video. The thumbnail for this video I shared on the Dutch Pagans Insta. If you don't already follow me, you can do so there. It's mostly memes and shits and giggles. And that image got a lot of shares and a lot of traction. A lot of likes, a lot of shares. Because it's a powerful image. It's an image of pagan Europe at its most beautiful. That's what this thumbnail is. So how can you dream about it? Well, you could, for instance, take the original picture of the Dutch Pagans Instagram and just print it out. Or just make a greets card and send it to yourself. Put it in a frame and put it somewhere in your house where you see it every day. So that image becomes sort of like a sigil. It becomes burnt into your conscious and slowly seeps into your subconscious. If you want to change the world, change your dreams. Don't spend too much time thinking about this terrible technocratic prison that may or may not come to be in the near future. Don't spend your time thinking about this next world war. I mean, if you want to do it, that's fine. But let it go and let it happen, and fill your mind with good thoughts. Fill your mind with that image of beautiful pagan Europe, and it will become your reality. I hope we all do that, and I hope we get some nice suggestions when it comes to the pagan cuss words. In Dutch we say het heidens scheldwoordenboek. Holla if you hear me. I'll see you all next week or in 2 weeks. En ga met de goden.